landform. This has nothing to do with snow or nothing. This was on the news. You had to Google it about a month ago. A woman lost her ring back like in 1976 and fell in the...
Alright, well, what you're going to do is you got to set this thing up on something so that it don't bounce around on you. I just set it up, need better gloves. I just set it up on this little frame thing here so I can move it around whenever I want. Okay, and you take your chain, because you got it off the saw, and you set it up on here like that. Alright. Okay, now you see it moves on here as you pull it through. You've got an adjustment here which tells you how far down into the chain it's going to cut. You don't want to cut too far down because you won't have no chain left. It's downright dangerous. It gets too thin right here at that joint. But as you can see, it'll oops, not that one, right here. As you probably can't see, I'm going to move the camera here in a minute. See, it comes down like this. And then, here, let's bring this a little closer. Alright, let me see. As you can see, that comes right down into the chain like that. Alright, so you got to set your angle and your depth. Well, the depth is right there. It bottoms out at the bottom of the chain tooth, right where I want it. And the angle is set right here with this sliding scale thing here. This whole table moves and you loosen up the nut on the bottom. You can turn this and that gives you your angle of the wheel. Here, I'll show you. I'll set this over here. And there we go. Okay. Oh, right there. Yes. Okay. All right. Loosen up this bottom piece here, and you can move it around. Now, I think there are some recommended angles that you're supposed to use. I like a more aggressive cut when I'm chainsawing because my machine can handle it. It's a 1961 McCullough professional model, and it really digs in. So maybe the newer ones, if the not so strong motors, might balk out at a 20-degree cut. I don't know. Maybe not. I don't mess with those things. I like a real chainsaw. Anyway, tighten it up right here. See, because what this can do, as you can see, is it moves the angle of the cut. All right. And like I said, I set mine at 20. It seems to work really good for me. All right. Now, the other thing you have is this little lever right here. What this does is see the chain moves like this, and you bring your wheel down into it, and you can tighten that up, and it's going to hold that right there where you want it. So you just bring it down, grind it, loosen it up, bring this one over. But there's another little thing here too. This keeps the chain from jumping back, as you can see. Okay. Now, what I like to do, and I don't know if this is the proper way to do it, but this is how I do it. I don't use this. I just use this thing, and I push my tooth right into the wheel, so it gets a nice grind on it, and I move on to the next one. It's right on down the road. Oh, okay, so all right, and here we go. Always wear eye protection of some sort, and gloves are a good idea too. I don't know why, but these chains, they're really sharp. They like cut you. Okay, so bring it down and just push it right into the wheel, and then move on to the next one. That's all it takes. And now I always mark the top of the one tooth that I started with. so I always know where I'm at. Wait a minute here. So let me look for where I marked the one prior, because I did the other side already. See right there on the top, I just put a little bit of magic marker on there, which I keep in my chain box, so I can always know where I started at, because it gets a little confusing when you start to cut these things. It's just where you started. I think I'm going to move the camera over to this side, because you can probably get a better idea of how this actually cuts into it. Alright, we'll try that over here. Just like this. Now, that ain't much better now, is it? Yeah, that ain't much better, is it? Okay. Let's try it back over here. And it's closer. Like that. Then this like that. And I think I've lost my sun. So that makes things dark. Oh well. Okay, let's get the job done. Okay. Of course, this is my last side to be done here. I can do this like this. Alright, there's where I had my start mark. That's the first one I'll start with right there. I bring it down, and then I just pull the chain into it. Or put a little thing there. There we go. On to the next one. This don't take too long to do. Actually, once you get going, you get your routine set up, bada bing, you're done. Now, of course, you can go and have this done someplace for like $4 a chain, but then you miss all the fun of doing your own chain. So, because it is, you know, kind of fun. Some guys have a much better setup with their sharpener. I mean, they've got it set up on a nice pedestal and all that. But I'm pretty portable with everything, so not quite sure where I'm going to be from month to month. Yeah. So I'll be able to set things up where I'm at. See, I'm just about done here. I forget how many links there are in the chain that goes around. This seems to be a much better way to do it than with the Dremel routine. I've tried the Dremel. Very aggravating and not very accurate at all. You get varied results even on the same chain, which is bad when you're trying to chainsaw, because you got some teeth that are really digging in and the other ones that are just gliding along and doing their own thing and not really cutting in. So that makes for a very tiring experience when you're out there trying to get the job done. You want all the teeth working in unison and digging in and cutting. There is one other thing you can do with one of these grinders, and that is naturally, as you sharpen these teeth, it makes them smaller, shorter, and what happens then, there's my start mark. Okay, I think this is where we started at. What happens then, turn this off, is I forget what they call this part here, but this part actually keeps the chain from digging in too far. It's kind of a guide. It's called a guide. So what happens as you cut these down shorter, these guides, which haven't been cut, are up too high. So your cutting teeth don't dig into the wood far enough. Because actually, when it cuts, it pulls it in, and and these guides pull it back out, pull the wood out, keeps from digging in too far. So what you can do is you can set this using your top adjustment here. This nut comes down, and bring one of the guides right underneath that. Okay, and then you can set this just to take off a little bit of each one, and of course you use your starting tooth again to mark where you're starting at. Okay, so you can just go all the way across the same way, and I will demonstrate to just lower those cutting guides a little bit so you get a more aggressive cut and get the job done quicker. Okay, now up, okay, there we go, right here. There you go. Is that nice? Okay. Yeah. Yes. Skip the cutting tooth. Bring it up to the next guide. Back up a little bit. And always remember to wear gloves when doing this stuff because the skin comes off real quick with one of these contraptions. Alright. This chain has been sharpened several times already. It hasn't stretched to the point where it won't tighten up on the saw. At some point the chain will stretch that far where you can't actually even get you can't get the doggone thing to tighten up on your bar, and that's when it's time to say adios to the chain because it's become dangerous. Yes. As you might have noticed, I'm talking and not paying attention, so I just cut the top of one of my teeth. That's pretty dumb, but that's okay. We'll deal with it. Now, if you really want to know how to do this the right way, you should probably watch a professional doing it. That ain't me. I'm just a guy with a chainsaw and a bunch of cats around him. The cats really don't help. They don't really hinder the operation either. They're just here. So, if you want cats helping you do your job, well, that's a personal preference. These are, of course, wild cats. I don't know where they came from. They just come out of the woods and they think they live here. So, what do I know? There's our mark, and we are done. The chain ready for action.